Alright, let's begin. Okay, so I know my hair's looking crazy right now, but there's a reason. I don't want it on my shoulders. So that's why it's up like this. I just took it off from the braids just so I can show you this whole process, because ever since I've been posting about me wearing wigs and stuff like that, I've gotten a whole lot of questions, and I've been really excited about making this video, so here we go. Okay, so if you are one of my lock community people who have thick locks and a big head, or thick hair and a big head, because sister locks don't have to be thick, but if you got a lot of them and just a giant head like me, this is definitely the video for you. So this is how I do it. I do mine in an illusion, so I wear hats for a reason. But this could work. I purposely did this method because I bought the wigs that I did. If I do buy a full wig to make it illusionized and all that other stuff, I will definitely do another video on that. But as for right now, this is how I wear my wigs. Also keep in mind, I live in a cold climate. I live in Michigan, and it's getting cold and it's winter now, so this works for me. If you live in the hot climate, I am sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to tell you. This may be horrible for you because it's definitely gonna get hot, but for me, I don't get hot with this method, so this works completely for colder climates. I'm so sorry. I will come back to you when I figure out a way to wear a wig and it not be hot. So until then, my bad. Alright, tip 1 on the braiding stage. Here's also a note. I have shaved the back of my head. So if you don't have a shaved back, I recommend braiding your hair into 2 sections. So like braid the back of your hair down and then braid the rest of your hair down, because that's not going to create so much tension in the back, because if you do that, it might hurt a little bit because it's like tugging and pulling. That wasn't a great gesture, but yeah, so that it's not going to tug so much if you part your hair in like two ways. So tip number 1 for braiding. 1, do really small sections. Do I build up? No, it's just shiny. Do really small sections of hair, like as small as you possibly can. And when you're braiding, pay attention to this. It's gonna be like the key thing. 1, do not braid too tightly, because as you braid too tightly, 1, that's gonna hurt your hair after a while, and then 2, it's gonna create like a little bulk of you. Want it to lay as flat as freaking possible. So as I'm braiding, hold on, can you see me? Okay, so as I'm braiding here, I'm doing like these chunks of hair here, and I'm braiding it very loosely, but as I'm braiding it, I'm pulling, not pulling, but pulling back so that it stretches out in that direction, if that makes sense. I hope that does. So I'm like going like that, and I'm grabbing sections of hair, and then you look at that. You see how flat it is? And here's how you know if you did it way too tight. So I'm gonna finish this braid first, and then I'm gonna explain what I mean. Okay, now that it's fully braided, the whole thing is loose. So I'm not even doing it tight when I go down here. Like you see how mobile that is? The whole thing is loose. So how you can tell if you did it too tight or if you did it just right is that you should be able to adjust them. You should be able to pull your locks forward if it is too tight. You should be able to adjust the whole thing. Like that's what you want, because as over time, as you put the caps on, especially if you have a big head, you're going to be using 2 caps. As you put the caps on, it can get really tight under there, and if your locks are very uncomfortable, especially if you're going to wear these like over time, like you're going to wear wigs for a little while, 1, you want it to be comfortable when you go to sleep, and then 2, over time, as you wear the caps, it can get really tight under here, or it can get very uncomfortable. I learned this lesson the hard way. When I first did it, I did my locks a little bit too big and a little too tight, and so when they were resting on here or on my head, it was actually quite uncomfortable, and it kind of gave me a little bit of a headache. So I'm doing them very, very small sections, and I'm doing them loose so that I can adjust them, and then that's it. That's actually all there is to it. And then I'll show you what I do with the ends once I finish braiding my hair. Okay, so I did forget to mention this. You get the best kind of braids, as you can see the second one. You see how flat this is? This is great. But you get the best kind of braids for people with more chunkier locks, and I think this works for sister locks as well. When your hair is already pre-stretched, so if your locks are already pre-stretched, that's like you get the best results from that. So this is an old braid out that I have going on. I think like a day old braid out. Yeah, because I took yes, this is a day old braid out. So if your locks are already stretched, that's going to be the best. If your locks aren't, you may have a hard time getting them as flat as possible. So that's just might be a little bit of an issue. But yeah, but just pre-stretch your hair, your locks before you do this method, and you'll get the best results. Okay, I will clock back in when my hair is done. Also, please don't worry about your hair being perfect. Like, please don't. It doesn't matter. It's gonna be covered anyway. And also, if you have like really, really long locks, this method could still work. And what I'm going to do after, I'll show you, might work for people who have long locks too. So another note that I just now noticed as I'm doing this, if you take like if you do it lock by lock as you're braiding, like doing it small section after small section as you're braiding, it helps keep the locks flat so that it's not so bulky, or so that it doesn't like get really bulky as it, you know, continues. And also, some parts of my hair are thicker than other parts, so even if it's like a little bit, as you can see, a little bit bulkier than the rest, it's not that big of a deal, which I know is gonna come as I come towards here. So yeah, that's just something I really can't avoid. But if that really does bother you, if it absolutely bothers you, then once you get to like the thicker parts of your hair, do even smaller sections, like smaller than these ones. It may take a while, but that's like your best bet that you can do to get your hair as flat as humanly possible. Yeah. Also, I forgot to say this too. Make sure your hair is washed, please. Like, do this on clean hair, on moisturized hair. Definitely moisturized when you do this style, because if you're planning to do this for a while, if you're planning to do this for one night and one night only, then it's not big of a deal. But if you're definitely doing this, like keeping these in for a while, make sure you do this on washed hair, clean and moisturized hair. And if you miss a few locks, like I did, as you're braiding, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, especially like this one. You definitely do not want it bending like this, okay? Because I kind of just braided it in as I went on. But this, I don't want this. So I'm just gonna take it out, like undo this and then take it out. But I should just like Yeah, if you're a perfectionist and you absolutely have to have these braided, you can redo the whole thing if you want, but I'm not going to do that. They're just going to be out, and I'm just going to tuck them in like this. Not that big of a deal. But yeah. But you see, if you can see, like, you see, this is why I wanted it to be soft, like not as hard, because look, when I put the cap on, it's just gonna get even flatter, because I should be able to push the buns down. Yeah, and if you loosen them up even more, for people who have sister locks, that's even better. But for people who have really thick traditional locks, it's better to keep it like formed like this, so that it can just lay flat on your head. Yeah. And I'm just gonna adjust it, because I know when I put the cap on, it's gonna pull. And that's another reason why you want the front to be loose, like the roots, especially if you have just freshly redone locks. It's not that big of a deal. You probably might just skip that step. But if I have a lot of new growth, because I'm gonna go a while without, you know, redoing my locks, and I don't want them to pull at my root, because when you put your wig on, it may pull on your hair, at least at the front of your hair, and that's how you lose your edges, people. And I ain't trying to do that. So it's loose, it's comfortable, I'm comfortable. Okay, I know I said that. Sorry, I had to adjust myself. But I know I said that I would come back after it was done, but I just thought, you know, what if some people still don't understand on how to braid it? So this is how flat my braids are. And another trick on how to braid it as flat as possible, and also doing it loose, is to braid it right here. You know, people mostly go at the root to make sure it's tight. Go all the way at the ends of your hair. So here's what I mean by that. So I'm braiding it here. Therefore, 1, I can't do it tight, and 2, it's gonna be loose. And then I'm actually, every time I go, every time I grab a section, I keep pulling my hands back. See, I'm still to the end. You see? So as I'm grabbing a new section, my hands stay further and further at the ends of my hair. Yep. I can't see. There we go. Bam. There you go. I hope this really makes sense. If it doesn't, please leave a comment down below. But yeah. And so as I get towards the back, they stay towards the end of my hair, so I can get this as flat as possible. Yeah, and please don't worry about the loose ends that I'm getting here. As you can see, like right here, once again, they're gonna be smushed and covered anyway. So if you're a perfectionist, I realize this must be really hard for you to do. But if you're just, and also this doesn't help to do this in a rush. If you're in a rush to go somewhere, that might not be the best time to do it. I definitely recommend taking your time when you're doing this. Because when I first did these, I was not patient at all, and that's when I messed up. Like, that's when they were too bulky, even when I tried to do them in small sections. And even when I tried to do them perfectly, because as you can see, the lines aren't perfect. Most definitely not. But my hair is thicker in some places than it is in other places. So I have to adjust my sizing and how much I take, and worry less about like getting a line. You know what I mean? Because that doesn't matter. So as I'm braiding. So I hope that definitely makes sense. And I hope that's like easier to understand. So if people didn't understand when I did this one on how I did that, I think that's the best way for you to learn to like best way for you to do it is just to braid towards the ends of your locks and just kind of like braid like that, because then it can be loose as you undo it. Make sure your roots are loose and it can be flat. Yeah, so if you're a perfectionist, I don't know what to tell you. I don't. Look, I'm giving you the tools. It's up to you to apply them. Alright, so this is it all done. It's as flat as possible. This is poking out still because this one doesn't go all the way in the back, so I just have to like squish it in there. But alright, now that the braiding is done, it's time to get to the hair caps. This is the hair cap that I use. I don't know if you can see. Oh, there'll be a picture of it. There comes in 2 in a pack, and I have to put 2 of them on. Oh, I had rubber bands in here. What do you know? I have to put 2 of these on because otherwise it still doesn't fit my whole head. Yeah. But yeah. So I think these work best when they're stretched out, because when they're just brand new, it's really tight. So if you could put these on a mannequin or on a basketball, if you want, you can have them pre-stretched before you put them in your hair, or you could just wear it enough to where it kind of just, ooh, gosh, it kind of just stretches out on its own. So here's what I'm going to do. And if you have really long locks, it also helps to have, you're gonna have to probably wear 2 of these, because the first one is gonna be towards the back. So this one is mainly meant for, the first one is mainly meant for like tucking the ends of your hair, and as my hair is getting longer, it's going to be more and more difficult for me to do that. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, and I'm still in the middle of like stretching these out pretty well. There we go. And because I've worn these quite a bit, so these are getting easier and easier to kind of like finesse. So I don't need this all the way up here, so I want them to be able to do this. So if you need to pull it back all the way here, then do that. Like, don't even be afraid about that. And the one that's sticking out, I'm mostly just trying to either do 1 or 2 things. Either I'm going to tuck it at the bottom, or I'm just going to wrap it around in the back and the front. So depending on the type of wig that you're wearing, you can decide what you kind of want to do. If you're having like an issue like mine. If not, then don't. You don't have to worry about what I said. There we go. And see? Bam. Gone. So for this one, I just tucked it at the bottom. Alright. Cap number 2. Now this one is to cover the front of your hair. What I also learned to do, sometimes I wear a headband to cover my edges. So this one I don't have to worry about going all the way in the back because we already covered that part. So this one I kind of just wear it like a hat. And if I need to, I'll just put it right there. Okay, so I've been looking for that headband everywhere because I wanted to show you guys the headband that I'm talking about that I put around my edges. It's literally that thick black headband. Oh man, I will. You know what? Like, please follow me on my social medias because it's for moments like this. Because I promise you, once I'm done with this video, I will find it. Like, it will pop up somewhere and I'm going to get so frustrated. But it's moments like these where I will post it on my story. And I'm not saying this just because I want to get followers. It's not why at all. But I will usually post the item I'm looking for on my story. And then by then it's too late because nobody's seen it. So, but yeah, I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. It's that thick black headband. I would usually put that on my edges just for like the extra security and protection. But yeah, so now that you see that the cap is on, it's time to put on the wig. I found it! Yeah, so here's what I do. I found it. Yes, thank God. There we go. that's what I usually do. And this probably will work if you're doing like a, like, hold on, I'm just gonna explain later. But just for the extra protection, this is what I do. So I bought 2 wigs. The first one I'm gonna put on, sorry for the oil spill, it is a little bit oily, but the first one I'm gonna put on is this one. It's my curly one. It's called Sunny Girl by Equal. And it's one of the half wigs that some people use to like leave out their hair and, you know, have that whole natural look and stuff like that. But one, I bought it because it's cheap and a girl's broke. And then 2, let me get this out of the way. There we go. And then 2, I really like the style of it, and I knew exactly the look I was kind of going for. Like, I wasn't really looking for something that I could just, you know, kind of wear out, because I still haven't found, I haven't tried on a lot of wigs and stuff like that. So these are the 2 that I found right away that I was trying to get on the go. So this is a good on the go style that you can do. So this is the half wig. I'm gonna put it on and I'm gonna show you. Okay. So this is what I mean by it's the half wig. So it goes on like a part of your head. So this is good for people with big heads. So I'm not, obviously I'm not gonna go out like this. And this is why I said this is better, this technique is better for people in colder climates, because I will usually, one, I could go out like this and just say like, oh, I have a giant headband on and have my edges out, which I have thought about doing, but that's not why I bought the wig. So I could go out like this if I wanted to. Okay, there we go. And the good thing about the half wig is because it doesn't need to go on all of your hair, that you could, you know, do stuff like this. And this also turns into a ponytail, which I'm gonna do styles about that like later on, and how I can do, you know, how you can wear it like that. But as you see, it can turn into a ponytail as well. But I can literally wear like head wraps and headbands and stuff like this and kind of just pull it off like this if I wanted to. But what I've been doing so far is wearing hats with them. Kind of go like this, and then bam, there you go. And I have like a ton of hats that I like to wear, and it's been getting really cold, so that's why I kind of like doing this, because it's starting to snow, of course. You can just go like this, and this is the curly one. Now if you have like really thick locks, it's best to go with curlier hairstyles. But if you absolutely want to wear a straight one, that's 100% possible. So this is my straight haired wig, because I wanted best of both worlds, because I wasn't gonna settle for just one style. Not happening. So I usually like wearing this hat with this wig. It is also by Equal, and her name is Swing Girl, and you can also turn her into a ponytail, which I will show on styles how to, you know, get the best of both worlds. You know what I mean? Let me see if I can see how long she is, and it's a little bit of a crinkle in it, only because how I, you know, maintenance these, because once again these are cheap wigs. But yeah, so what I highly recommend, if you have locks and they're thick, if you want straight hair, I recommend getting a blowout texture. And thick blowout textures is gonna be your like go-to type of hairstyles, especially if you just want to wear it without the hat. Get 'cause this is like extremely thick, and blowout textures, I mean, it's like, I don't know if you can even see this on camera. Okay, I'm gonna explain this, and I hope you guys understand. It's like a crinkle in the hair. It's like, it's straight, but it's a little bit of a texture in the hair instead of having it like pin straight. So highly recommend those thick thick straight hair with a texture to it. So look for those at the wig shop. And then also look for like curly hair is also going to be your best friend. So either like loose curly hairs, you know, type of that kind of thing is going to be your like usual go-to styles. I like wearing hats, and I also have a big head. These hats I had to search for to like find hats that would fit my head, and then on top of that fitting a wig, like I think I got these either at H&M or Forever 21, and they rarely have like large size hat that I can adjust. And as you can see, like if I go towards the back, okay, you know what? I'm gonna have to fix that later. But it's like, you know, it's not noticeable. There's no bumps. Like, yes, I can feel it. You know, I can feel what's under here, but you can't see it. And that's the point. Is that you don't want to see it. You want to try to fool everybody as much as humanly possible. But yeah. I think that's about it. Oh yeah. If there are these little things, the drawstrings, just tuck it in. Like these little things, just tuck it in the cap. If you can. And then boom. Gone. Okay? If you guys have any questions, any more questions, you can put them in the comments below, because I've gotten like a ton of questions, and I hope this answers just about all of them that I've seen, at least on Facebook, because I have a Facebook as well, and I am in a lot of lock groups. So if you ever see me commenting, you know, you can always ask me questions and stuff like that. Because I took away my messaging on Facebook. I am ranting. I'm so sorry. I took away my messaging on Facebook just to let people know, because it just kind of got out of control. And then I had people like randomly trying to do the Facebook messaging thing, or like video chat and calling, and it just got overwhelming. I just couldn't deal with it anymore. I'm done with that. So it just you can just like comment on my page, or just, you know, whatever. I forgot to add, if you're a first time wig trier, please get a cheap wig first. Like, don't spend your money on getting something really expensive, because you might just waste your money. Like, figure out how to finesse it and make the wig work best for you first, and how to finesse it and get used to wearing it, because it does take some getting used to and finessing on how to fit it on your head and stuff like that, and how you're gonna work with it. And plus, you might find out that you don't like wearing wigs, and that's okay too. But this is just options, you know what I mean? So get something really cheap, and then if you like what you're working with, then you can move up to bigger and better things. Okay? And my arm just kind of lowered as I kept going. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Peace out. See you next week.